Today we're taking a moment to unpack the truly remarkable life and, well, multifaceted legacy of an artist whose recent passing at 54 has brought a renewed focus, maybe a deeply personal one, to his surprising impact. We're talking about actor and Grammy Award winner Malcolm-Jamal Warner. You shared some materials with us, and it noted he sadly passed away last week.
Yeah, incredibly tragic news. The Associated Press confirmed it was a drowning accident. He was on vacation in Costa Rica.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, reports said he got caught in a strong current. And despite people trying, beachgoers, first responders, they couldn't revive him. It's a really somber way to start, but his life, it deserves a much deeper look.
Absolutely. And that's our mission today, right? It's not just about reporting the sad news. Based on the insightful sources you send over, we want to go beyond those headlines. We want to explore the rich, incredibly varied career of an artist who, for many of us, we knew primarily from that one iconic role. We'll delve into how he navigated, both immense early success and then this profound complexity in the public eye. We want to reveal his diverse talents, some really unexpected achievements, and his remarkably candid perspective on a legacy that was just forever intertwined with some challenging circumstances.
It really is a journey into understanding not just what he accomplished, but how he consciously shaped his path. He created this identity that really transcended a single character and left a lasting mark across, multiple artistic disciplines. He was in many ways an artist constantly redefining himself.
So let's unpack that journey. For so many of us, Malcolm-Jamal Warner will just forever be Theo Huxtable, the only son of Heathcliff and Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. Mm-hmm. From 1984 to 1992, he played that role on what was, undeniably a certified smash hit. He even got an Emmy nomination for it. That character was such a cultural touchstone, especially for a whole generation growing up in the 80s.
Oh, absolutely. That show wasn't just popular, it was a phenomenon. It redefined television, particularly for Black families. It offered this portrayal of an affluent two-parent Black household that was, virtually unprecedented back then.
Right.
His role as Theo made him an instant household name. And that created these incredible opportunities, but also, as we'll definitely get into, some unique challenges around public perception.
And as you pointed out from your sources, his screen presence didn't just stop there. After The Cosby Show, he actively diversified his television work. He went on to star in sitcoms like Malcolm-Jamal that ran for 4 seasons, right?
Nope, 4 seasons. And Read Between the Lines, too.
Right, Read Between the Lines, where he kept showing his comedic timing, but also, that he could carry a show. And then more recently, he was a regular on the Fox medical drama, The Resident.
Playing Dr. A.J. Austin.
Exactly, a role that showed a completely different, much more dramatic side of his acting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, while Theo was totally iconic, he was always pushing beyond it.
And that continuous work ethic, that's really a key thread in his whole story. But what's particularly insightful, pulling from your materials, is that his artistic stuff wasn't just limited to TV. He also built up a pretty significant presence in theater, which is an aspect of his career maybe a lot of people don't know about, but it speaks volumes about his dedication to the craft, beyond the glare of network TV.
That's a great point. He performed off-Broadway in plays like Three Ways Home, and notably Crying Shame. And for Crying Shame, he actually got an NAACP Theater Award.
Yeah, that's significant.
When you think about the immediate fame and, frankly, the money from The Cosby Show, it's fascinating that he chose to pursue live theater. What do you think that tells us about him as an artist?
Well, I think it reveals this really profound commitment to artistic exploration, maybe over just pure commercialism. Theater it's a different beast entirely, isn't it?
Totally different.
It demands that immediate connection with the audience, a deeper dive into the character, and often a kind of grittier approach to storytelling. Winning an NAACP Theater Award for Crying Shame, that isn't just an accolade. It's serious validation of his dramatic depth and his versatility way beyond the Theo persona. It suggests he was always looking for opportunities to stretch himself, to prove he wasn't just a child star, but a really serious actor.
Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting and where we uncover some of the less known but incredibly profound parts of his artistry, like you detailed in the sources. When we talk about Malcolm-Jamal Warner, we absolutely have to talk about his music and his poetry. Did you even know he was a Grammy winner? It's a fact that often catches people off guard.
It really does, and the story behind that win is incredibly powerful. In 2015, he won a Grammy for Best Traditional R&B Performance. It was for the song Jesus Children by the Robert Glasper Experiment featuring Lala Hathaway. And his contribution was this incredibly moving spoken word piece. It memorialized the victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting. That wasn't just, a performance. It was this profound use of his voice, showing a deeply personal and compassionate artistic response to just horrible tragedy.
And it wasn't just a one-off thing. He got nominated for a second Grammy in 2023, this time for Best Spoken Word Poetry Album for his project Hiding in Plain View.
Mm-hmm.
He talked to All Things Considered in 2023 about that project and about writing poetry during the COVID pandemic. And he shared this incredibly powerful quote. I think it offers such a profound insight into his inner world. He said, "Vulnerability can be a scary thing. Black boys boast bravado not to seem broken, and often so do black men. I see you looking for clues, searching for cues, longing to know what I'm not telling you as if I'm hiding in plain view."
Wow. That quote, especially when you think about it coming from a child star who grew up completely in the public eye, it offers such a vital lens into his journey. He found these creative outlets through music and poetry that he specifically told NPR, he just couldn't access through acting.
Really? He said that?
Yeah, he explained that acting for him often felt like putting on a mask, even when he was playing serious roles. Poetry and music, and he was a skilled bass guitarist too. They allowed him to sort of strip away those masks and really engage with his authentic self. It let him explore vulnerability directly, instead of trying to convey it through a character. This really highlights an artist who wasn't just talented, but was constantly seeking the most honest way to express his inner world. Which is a crucial distinction for someone whose public identity was so firmly set so early on.
That's a profound insight into his artistic motivations. And his creative reach, like your sources detail, went even further behind the scenes. He wasn't just content to be in front of the camera or on stage. He was an executive producer for the beloved PBS kids show, The Magic School Bus.
Oh, yeah. The Magic School Bus.
Such an iconic educational program for a whole generation of kids. And he also voiced the producer on the show.
That's a really significant role, in a show that educated and entertained millions of kids, influencing how they understood science and discovery. But his work behind the camera didn't stop at producing. He also built up this substantial list of directing credits for different TV series.
Like what?
Well, he directed episodes of The Cosby Show itself, which shows his deep understanding of that set and its dynamics. He also directed for The Resident, where he was also acting, which just speaks to his ability to juggle things.
Right, multitasking.
And notably, he even directed an episode of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, another huge black sitcom from that era.
Wow, Fresh Prince too.
Yeah. So this just demonstrates a truly versatile talent, someone who understood storytelling from all these different angles and actively sought to shape the narratives, not just perform in them.
It's so clear he wasn't just sitting around waiting for the next acting gig. He was actively building this career with so many different facets. And staying true to that modern, evolving voice, he just launched a podcast in 2024 called Not All Hood.
That's right.
Its most recent episode was published just last week, featuring his co-hosts Candace Kelly and Tamika Georgia May Harper. What does this latest venture, a podcast, tell you about his, continued artistic curiosity?
I think it's the testament to his adaptability and his desire to engage directly in conversations. A podcast gives you that direct, unmediated platform for dialogue and discussion, right? Which lines up perfectly with that raw vulnerability he explored in his poetry.
Good point.
It's just another example of him seeking authentic connection, moving beyond traditional acting roles to express his perspective in a more direct, more conversational way. He was truly a multi-hyphenate artist right up until the very end, always finding new avenues to connect and express himself.
Okay, so this brings us to maybe the most complex and definitely for many people the most sensitive part of his public life. And it's something he addressed with really remarkable candor, according to your sources. How did he navigate a legacy so deeply tied to the Cosby Show? And, of course, the allegations against Bill Cosby. It's a huge piece of his story, and his perspective gives us this fascinating look at navigating moral ambiguity right out there in the public eye.
It's absolutely crucial to understand his nuanced position here. Malcolm-Jamal Warner frequently talked about his deep pride in The Cosby Show's lasting impact. He told people in 2023, and I think this quote is really important, "I know I can speak for all the cast when I say The Cosby Show is something that we are all still very proud of."
So he genuinely believed in the show's profound cultural significance, almost like it was a separate thing from its creator.
It seems that way. He asserted that the show had such a profound impact on, first and foremost, Black culture, but also American culture. And he emphasized the effect that it had on Black people worldwide can never be taken away, right? There's still so much to be proud of in terms of that legacy. This perspective, it really highlights a conscious effort to acknowledge the artistic and cultural value of the work itself, even with all the painful stuff happening externally.
Yeah.
It suggests a belief that art can have an impact that really does transcend the personal actions of its creators.
But he also addressed the allegations against Bill Cosby head on, didn't he? And his statements kind of give us a window into the really deep personal conflict he must have felt.
Absolutely. In 2015, he told Billboard the allegations were painful, not just, for the victims, but also for him, because Cosby was one of his mentors.
Right, the mentor relationship.
He stated, and this is a particularly candid quote, "Just as it's painful to hear any woman talk about sexual assault, whether true or not, it's just as painful to watch my friend and mentor go through this." He later clarified that he couldn't speak on any of the allegations because obviously I was not there. He made this really clear distinction, saying, "The Bill Cosby I know has been great to me and great for a lot of people. What he's done for comedy and television has been legendary and history-making. What he's done for the Black community and education has been invaluable. That's the Bill Cosby I know. I can't speak on the other stuff."
That's a truly complex and, honestly, an empathetic stance. He chose to speak only from his personal experience, what he saw. Rather than speculating or condemning, he clearly acknowledged the pain of the situation for everyone involved.
Mm-hmm.
He also talked about the very practical and emotional impacts of the fallout, especially for the cast. He speculated to journalist Jamel Hill in 2023 that the cast might be making a killing with reboots, mentioning shows like Fuller House and The Conners, if it weren't for the allegations.
Yeah, that financial side is a really tangible consequence that often gets overlooked in these discussions. But his response when asked if he felt resentful is maybe the most layered and insightful part of his perspective.
What did he say?
He firmly stated, "No, not resentment. That whole situation is so layered, man. I can't defend him or his actions at all, but I also can't throw him under the bus completely. It's so complex, and it's so many shades of gray that most people will never get." That level of empathy and understanding, even with the personal disappointment and the professional impact, it's quite remarkable. It really speaks to his maturity in navigating situations where there just aren't any easy answers.
It certainly does. And a huge part of how he navigated all this was through foresight, wasn't it? He also shared that he deliberately set up this life after the show so my life would not have to be dependent upon that show or dependent upon Theo.
Yeah, planning ahead.
That's a truly insightful and proactive move. Planning for financial and creative independence from a breakout role that could have so easily defined his entire career. He admitted it truly sucked to watch the ship go down the way it went down, but also that he personally had moved on a long time ago.
Which raises this important question about how those really early career experiences can profoundly shape an artist's entire path, He reflected on Bill Cosby's intense work ethic during The Cosby Show, remember? Working Monday through Thursday on the series, then doing stand-up Thursday through Saturday nights.
Wow, relentless.
Totally. And Warner observed this relentless drive, and it taught him this critical lesson about career longevity. Quote, "When you are hot, that's when you grind. So in the times where things aren't so hot, I got my chips stacked. I don't have to go out and make desperate acting choices because I got to pay my bills." It's clear this disciplined, forward-thinking approach gave him the creative freedom to pursue all these diverse passions, music, poetry, directing, podcasting, instead of being forced into roles just for the money. He built a foundation that really freed him from Theo's shadow.
That's such a powerful lesson in career independence and really artistic integrity. And it's also worth noting his belief, which he shared with Jamel Hill, that a Cosby Show reboot probably wouldn't have worked anyway, even without the controversy. He felt they had said everything that we had to say with the original series.
Right. So in his view, even without all the external complications, there was a kind of natural artistic end to that specific creative chapter, which just further emphasizes his focus on the creative value and narrative completeness rather than just the commercial potential. It's another layer to his really thoughtful approach to his own legacy.
Malcolm-Jamal Warner's life really reminds us that true artistry often involved embracing vulnerability, and that the profound impact of a creative work can, in many ways, sort of transcend even the most complicated external circumstances. His journey, which you've detailed so well from the sources, from this iconic child star to a Grammy-winning spoken word artist, director, producer, podcaster, it truly showcases a life lived with multifaceted contributions. He built a career that absolutely transcended that single role and navigated incredibly complex public issues with such a thoughtful, balanced, and deeply personal perspective.
Yeah, his ability to both acknowledge the past and actively forge these new paths, all while embracing that vulnerability he spoke about so eloquently in his poetry, it leaves us with so much to reflect on. It really prompts us to consider, how do we honor the multifaceted legacies of those who shape our culture? Especially when those legacies are layered with such profound shades of gray. How do we find the wisdom to appreciate the art, understand the human complexities, and allow for the full spectrum of an individual's impact, just as Malcolm-Jamal Warner seemed to strive for?